don't care how many people are here. Getting better is more important, especially when I use this as my study time as well. So, coming back from the series, just a quick discussion on a few things, just briefly. One thing I think we see a lot are people, whoops, not this one. People playing very heavy peel range in the big blind, very little three betting, flatting pretty strong, mixing very little, defending pretty wide, right? So I modified the range here a little bit, where a lot of these hands that are mixing are just going to be pure calls. And I'm going more of a chip EV approach because I think we see this a lot. And then seeing some of the differences in them having a wider but having more strong hands in that range, how that compares. And then once we get to some of these post flop spots, how we approach that when we get to the turn and they're not check raising as much as they should be. They don't have the mixed frequency check raises and stuff like that. And then you kind of build a better turn barrel strategy versus these guys. I think the strategy starts to look little bit more clear. That's some of the work I've been doing on my own a little bit, kind of messing around with this range. This is just my interpretation. If you have this, you can get in here and modify it as such. I just think they're not mixing three bets. And this is just a live player, a more ABC straightforward type, right? You got guys that'll play more theoretically sound, but versus these more straightforward mid stakes, low stakes guys that you'll see in live and online, that just don't have enough three bets. This is the range I think you'll see. I took out some of these other really weak flats as well, some of the offsuit deuces and such. So the solution's already been created here, so I don't need to do that. I kind of went with the random board, but a board that may be considered tricky in some situations with some frequency of hands. Some of us tend to find a bit more check on this board considering our opponents hit this a lot and are going to continue, and deciphering a strategy there. So you do get a reasonable amount of checks here at 30, but I like to give it three sizes. You can go down to two, smaller, big, and I don't think there's going to be too much EV loss. And one thing you're seeing is just going to mix a lot more big betting here as well. EV of going small, not too bad, but one thing you start to realize here is it pushes equity, and I think like this kind of shit, very, very, very important and not done enough. A lot of us want to just go small. I think pushing equity with a lot of our good top pair, Jack X, um, even Jack 10, stuff like this, where they're going to have some 9X, some gut shot, some straight draws, 10-8, Queen 10, that are just going to need to pay. And then mixing this stuff in as well. And honestly, versus more straightforward players, like, I don't know if needing to mix these as much helps, because you're just going to be able to double barrel on non-connecting good cards. So, yeah, I don't think the EV between going 33 and 100 for this portion of our range. But if you're playing live poker, it just doesn't matter, right? You could just push equity is what I'm noticing. So say we do this, even though that's not as common. Actually, let me do this since we'll be doing this more. And we'll just look at a couple boards and then we'll try to practice some of the situations. We don't get to practice with a note lock, unfortunately. But we will practice and take these things into consideration and adjust the ranges on the fly. So looking at this, like if you guys get this tool, I'm kind of just giving you an idea of uh how we can how you would mess with this, over here. Yeah, I didn't want to do that. It was at 17 anyway. You can try to slide it. Sometimes I try to slide it and see if like, hey, you just decrease these guys to just barely doing it, right? And seeing if that looks reasonable. Like, I just don't think when you go play live, these guys are check raising Jack 7 ever. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think. I think when you go play live, these guys are doing that. Probably peeling a lot of flush draws as well. So this queen 6 is what? Pairing the flush draw. Let's leave it. 10-7 ain't happening. 7-5 ain't happening. 6-5, 0%. 6-4, 0%. 7-5, not really. Queen 8 not happening. If you guys see anything else here, I think the rest of this looks fine. Probably not no King 10. Jack 9's 2 pair. Let's say Jack 10. All right. How's that look? Good, bad, no, yay? I think it looks reasonable as well. So we have the cutoff going 33. So we're going to be looking at this portion of our range where we have a lot of bluffs and hands we just want to fold out and find double barrels with. So let's look what that looks like on some turns. But they don't check raise, they call. And let's give it like the king of diamonds, and we'll play around with the turn a little bit on these kind of boards. I think it's pretty important. Obviously, they're not going to have any leads. We'll give ourselves more sizes as well, like for you guys who want to mix. But honestly, you're probably not going to want to use a small size ever, and we'll add that in for people who want to mix small in this. Whoops, like if you had small in your game ever, uh just add overbet in there as well. See if it has and I like to add that in is like, does it ever really go small? Not really. Can a little bit. And you can do this live, just kind of block a little bit, and then I guess you just use this as a block and then just check rivers a lot. We do this. I just want to look like through two hands like this. Then we'll drill a few, and go like that. So no big bet either. So the only bet is really six. So just going like 55, 67%. And you can see it follows through like a son of a bitch when you go small. We've kept the range pretty wide. They already call a lot of hands, a lot of second pairs, all their 9x, 6x draws. This card really good for us. So we are just going fucking ham here. Checking some of our 9x, which I think it's important to see. Jack 7 really doesn't make sense, but even Jack 10's finding a bet. Queen Jack, I think people sometimes unintuitively just doesn't look like a bet, but check.
You know, those are top pair that pick up equity, though, right? So makes good bet.
Pick up a gut shot as well, right?
Yeah.
This Queen 7, all of them barreling, they still pick up a gut shot, right? You have a gut shot. But I think people miss these. The ace 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, all of them just never checking these under pair as well. So being pretty aggressive turn strategy barrel on these good cards. Now watch when we make it like a fucking 7 or something. So 75, 25. Look at that. You're done. Not even old ace jack is loving a bet.
People have picked up so many two pairs and straights. One question is, what happens when we bet big? Do we still barrel off as much?
You want to see on this?
You can
So
look
you
at
want
that
to see
after
barrel big? Yeah.
on the
You can
king.
look at barrel big. Oh, and the king, we're gonna barrel again. But you would think that condenses his range slightly. So
Right. King is better.
but I'm still imagining we're betting 3/4 of the time on that king,
Sure.
even when we go 60.
This is big
Um,
blind range.
what's his big blind range?
Oh, this
No,
is big line. You
no,
gotta
we're
check.
looking at big blind range.
Oh, this is big blind lead turn. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is lead turn. Um, let's say our villains just these live guys fucking would never lead here, right? Or maybe they do, but let's just go versus the no lead opponent. And I think we're gonna see no lead here 95% of the time. I mean, it checks a lot more. Ace Jack, mixing check a fucking shitload though. Obviously betting more with a club. And when you don't have it, you almost want to check a lot. Ace of hearts, jack of spades makes some sense. He's gonna have the backdoor flush draw. You need to bet. So Jack 10 still betting. All of these type of bluffs we had before are done. How about a brick? I like to look at the contrast between a brick, a connecting card, and then the goods, right? It just has a pot size bet. The fuck? I mean, we'll always add 33 and see if there's EV if that's in your strategy for any portion of your range. I mean, it just hates everything else. What the fuck?
Change nothing. Just keep betting pot.
Only bet pot. You don't have a different size. See, this is why it's good to look at this shit, man. That's why it's good to look at this. Just go big. You don't have to go 55 on this turn. You want to hammer it. Although I imagine if you did go like 75, 80% to EV wouldn't be horrible, but you just never want to go small. Still bombing 9x. Ace 9, King 9 betting a reasonable amount as well. But it's a 50-50 on the turn. The ace and king are going to be your highest bet frequency, right? Let's go to our toe spot where he wants to see if we bet big and we get that king. They just call. I don't know if we want to. Let's modify this super quick because you got to do the correct type of work. So they're not our villains when we go big aren't going to ever use this type of stuff. Right? I mean, let me know if I'm clicking through you disagree. What would you never see from some of these straightforward sons of bitches? I mean, 6, 7 is gonna be people are just gonna fucking try to pill because they get stuck. Anything else? Anybody disagree? Yay, nay?
All those slivers of like 7 and 6x, I think are not, they're not raising ever.
7, it's
Like the 6-5 suited and the 7-5 suited and stuff.
yeah, there's just 8 calls for all of them,
Yep.
right? They're just call, I got a pair, and then this king 10 ain't ever happening. But yeah, they would always pill. Jack 10 pill. 2 pair. This is the guy that's always raising 2 pair, right? Jack 8 call. This work is not as sexy to do. Is that the gut shot? The 7-5? These guys they love fucking draws. No way. They're gonna fold. Fuck it. That goes good.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough. We modified and then it was a king of diamonds again. It was 84% betting or something like that before. We have a tighter range versus we go larger. They are checking and we are bombing again.
Don't matter.
Hey!
Even the ace 2 through ace 5.
Yeah, nothing stops us. This card too good, and we put them in hell. And their range still too wide. Even if they have more slow plays and shit like that. But I imagine when the bad card gets there, you are giving up even more versus that range, right? It has to be.
Can you give more bet sizes on the king? Because it was just betting 40% there, which was kind of.
Oh shit, yeah. Put it back to a king. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go.
Just do like one in the middle.
Yeah, man. I want to see. See, I have a 55 size. So if you have your standard buttons, you got what? Medium and big. Let's just do that. Small, medium, big. What do you like? Hate giving it 3 sizes, but now you're just, I mean, it's just go medium, 55. And you're betting a shit ton. I mean, you're betting as much, right?
And did you just remove a lot of the check raises on the flop? Is that what you did? Like,
Correct.
so he's still gonna have some strong stuff in here that he didn't check.
He's
raise.
check raising all his 2-pair sets. But he has all his draws.
Right.
He has still Jack X. He has Jack 10. He has Queen Jack. Right?
Oh, but we also bet big on the flop, bigish on the flop.
Yep.
So like
66.
he's condensed. I got you.
And we're still, I mean, even when we were using a small size, it didn't really dictate how much we're betting. And I think it is important to identify, yeah, we condense ranges, but at the same time, like this card's so good for our range, right? This ace is going to be a fucking hammer time. I wonder if the king is betting more than an ace. No. I mean, it is just fucking hammering the ace. Right? So we got to distinguish what cards, and I think this worked really well live. Like, I'm just done. If the 8 turn, I'm just in a pot control mode with some of my best hands. Right? We're not going to be able to get multiple streets. We're not folding all off of strong equity hands, and we can get check raise. We're not loving it. We get ravaged. But on these type of cards, we just get to put him in hell. Just betting everything. As opposed to a 10. I'm just going with offsuit shit on rainbow boards for now. What do you think? How much what percentage of our range be money do you think we're betting on a 10?
I mean, it's better for our range. So well, it's probably a lot. It's probably a lot, and then they're like using that medium size again. I would say somewhere around 80%.
80%. Matt says 70. Puck says 50-50. That's a big difference. That's a huge difference. It's a 50-50. It's not that great for our range. We've looked at how little they're check raising, how much connectivity this 10's gonna have, and you got to be fucking very careful. Right? Still mixing in these bluffs, but when you're looking at the EV numbers here, honestly, like you're not printing a whole lot by these bluffs. Like finding these bluffs here are where we make our money. Like, sure, it's sexy, it's cool, but I mean, ace jack's printing more money by checking than betting. Hands like king jack, want to bet, blocking the straight, still have some equity, right? Queen jack, good enough. Jack 10, 2-pair. It's not really fucking around a whole lot. Little bit with our queen blocker. This stuff is always unintuitive and really good. But yeah, I think being very careful versus these guys on these type of boards is going to be very helpful. Queen. 50-50. So you can feel like in these situations, when you get these middling type cards that feel like they connect well with it's just gonna be 50-50 a lot. You need blockers in your bets equity, and then you got this region is always going to mix because it's unblocking some of the middling player and folds. Having an over this region always mixes. We can add in more bet sizes, but we've seen. I think the premise here is like just go medium. You don't go big, you don't go small. You just use the medium bet size, 55%. No, the queen is pretty good for them, man. We saw how little they're check raising and how many strong hands they're gonna have in this spot, right? The ace and the king are really our dominant barrels. The low cards don't change much, so you have to be a little careful there as well. Look at a 3. I should ask what you guys think. 60-40? 70-30? Is it still a 50-50? 60-40. Yeah, these are a little bit more 60-40s. Still gonna want to bluff. Still want to barrel. Still want to continue betting a lot of your Jack X a lot. Even hands like pocket tens betting again. It's gonna have enough 9x in his range, right? And this is when we use the big size, so we're still following through with some of the shit that feels unintuitive. And this region still following through with or without. Cool. Let's get people involved and go to practice mode. Set this up. Do a few spots. Do this. Oh no, I want it to be there. We'll go here, hero, hero. And we can't set it up the same way we had it with that, but you know. Matt Nickel, you were the first one here. Lead us off, sir.
I think we can have some big bet, but we do want a range bet. So this hand, I would go small. I would go B33.
So you're betting your entire range.
Yeah.
Cool. How about skate? Are you betting your entire range here, or do you have a check? Would you check pocket deuces? Would you check Jack 8 or anything?
I think the king is kind of good for the big blinds. Here I think I'm gonna be doing. I mean, we have more ace tens. I think I'm gonna bet here more often than not. But can you reiterate your question?
No, what hands would you check? Would you mix in a check with?
Okay. I would say hands like maybe some middle pairs, draws I may check, maybe some of the worst draws,
Okay.
maybe like I don't know, something with a 9 in it, maybe a 10.
Fair. Now, it might have been a trick question because maybe you don't check a goddamn hand here versus a big blind range. Our friend Matt is betting range. You said the king is good. And guess what? Skate's the cash game player of the group. Take a quick look. I could have hit the other thing. Why do I keep doing that? And it goes back to this, but I have to do this. Wait a minute. 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 What did I do? Did I bust it? Betting range. But your little assessment of maybe wanting to check a little bit of it, it's not the worst skate. And we are not bet range betting small. You are allowed to push equity. Matt Nickel.
I said
Let's
we'd
stop.
have big bets.
Okay, you did? Okay, good. That's what I like to see. Yeah, we definitely want to push equity versus some of these guys for sure. Mixing in some big bet. Keep it going.
I think we definitely want to have checks with our range here, so this is a pretty good hand to put into the checking range, bottom pair, gutter, good equity. Globally, I probably check like 20 to 30% of the time.
20 to 30% of the time he's checking, using some of his bottom pairs with a gut shot and no spade. Some of his under pairs, I presume, as well with no spade, as checks as well, right?
Yep. And then if I do bet, we have some big bet, but not super big because there's completed equity. So B55 is my big size.
How do you distinguish your ace highs when you're betting those? Let's say your ace deuce through ace seven. Are you ever betting any of those? And if so, what size and why?
I would probably bet the spade combos at like a decent frequency for 55 because it sets up a nice SPR if we hit, and some of the heart combos, but mostly checking the ace combos because they have, or the other ace combos because they have showdown value.
Why do you want to use 55 over 33 more versus Rex?
Because I want to set up a better SPR if I hit.
If you just, now I'm not talking about the suited, I'm talking about the offsuit ace X.
Oh, I'm mostly checking those.
Every single ace deuce through ace seven, you're checking mostly with or without a spade almost all the time.
Without a spade, I'm mostly checking. With a spade, I'm mostly going B55. I guess you could do some small bet too. I don't think it matters that much, but
If it does matter,
oh, okay. Then I'm going B55.
but I think you should go B33.
Oh, okay.
If the only thing you're trying to accomplish versus some of these fucking straightforward people that are just gonna fold out, like you go play live, they're just going to, this board hits enough when you bet 55 and then it's a turn connected, you just torched more money. You didn't get anything that was gonna fold anyway. It's almost like they're continuing inelastically. So just save a little bit more, bet small, hope they fold out air, and then save the rest. Maybe versus your good pros and stuff like that, you want to make it look like more standard and you're like using that portion, blah, blah, blah. But I think overall, like, we're trying to be like a solver and be like going 55 with our dude. It doesn't, these guys are fucking going to fold like king deuce no matter what, 55 or 33, and they're going to continue inelastically with queen 9 or 8 when you go big. So save that money and go small if you're going to bluff, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like just save those bets. So I mean, yeah, here you can go versus most of you go small. I think it's all right to make some check as well. Like you can go small, you can check. This is one of the better candidates, and I did like how you interpret your range there. Here's our betting strategy. And yeah, doing a lot of betting with or without a spade on this board. And somebody nailed it. Betting 20, checking 20 to 25%. Fucking goats. Damn, you guys been getting better when I've been playing, huh? Betting a lot though. Checking these under pair, and I like how you want to mix with these with out of spade. That's really good. And betting a lot more with the spade. You can even mix without, right? It doesn't really matter.
Can you see what we're doing with if we have a, like suited heart combos there?
Yeah, I'll go back on it.
Okay.
Cool. We get this turn. How you feeling?
This turn's terrible. I kind of want to check and let him bluff the river, but I could see throwing out just like a B33 and then giving myself more options on the river because most people are pretty capped in the double check line from the big blind.
What do you mean they're double check? Just because you didn't check raise, and we know these guys check call stronger hands and don't have as a lot. So I just want to change the way we think.
We didn't bet the flop though. We checked flop and now he's checking again.
Oh yeah, that's
Wait, I'm
right.
confused.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I thought we bet.
Oh,
Because I
okay.
was thinking I bet. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I'm just saying, I think like when they check twice, like they're capped a lot. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, I guess we could bet and get called by some worse, but there's so much completed equity.
Yeah, it's
I
an
don't know.
interesting spot. Do you allow him to realize more equity? Do you have a 1-street or a 2-street hand? Does your hand need protection?
I think a lot of the hands that like could realize more equity, like would have bet this turn. Like if he has like, I don't know, king of spades or king of spades X, ace of spades X, whatever spade X, like
But he can
he would
have
have just bet
7 of spade
himself.
5. 7 of spade 5. Realizes some pretty reasonable equity against you.
But I think
Four-
he's supposed to turn that into a bluff, no? Because it's like the worst hand he gets here with.
Yeah,
Or it's
but
one of them.
this is real life.
Oh, okay. I thought we were trying to beat the solver. Sorry.
No,
Then-
I mean, yeah,
Then yeah, I
we
probably
can
would just
think-
buy the river in real life.
Yeah, I think when we have these discussions from here on out, we got to think of it where we'll talk about it both ways because it's just like what makes us better. Like we're playing against the solver, and we want to understand theoretically how we do things there. But then like in-game practice and what people are actually doing is a big fucking difference sometimes. And if we're just thinking about how we play against the solver, we wreck ourselves and lose EV. But for yourself, yeah, I mean, going small or checking probably reasonable. I don't see the value of ever going big. Do we bet now to get called by worse Jack X do we need to call? Single pair hands, all single pair spades. These people are peeling with a lot of that stuff. And sometimes it can be pretty high variance to go check. And even on the fucking 2 blank and he goes pot or he goes 60%. Is that a fun bluff catcher to make always? I don't know. I mean, maybe
Nope.
yes. It's not. It's not. I mean, it's not fun to make that bluff catch. You do it, and you're right. Sometimes they just like, wow, this guy played this bad and got me for a lot of chips.
But we can
So-
also realize like our own equity somewhat by checking. Whereas like if we bet they're gonna check raise sometimes, then we have to fold, I think.
But do
Whereas
you
like we could
think?
check back and hit a jack or an 8.
But in real life, do you think people check raise bluff, Mr. Straightforward? Like we have player types that we see when we sit down and play a lot, especially live. Like Mr. Straightforward, you don't know anything. Maybe versus him using the bet line and getting our street of value here, some protection, and that's cool right now, right? He's never gonna check raise us as a bluff enough. And if he does, it's always the fucking goods. So I don't know. It's interesting, and the solver agrees. Even in this situation versus itself, versus a human, you can make a case to go either they're betting small or checking as well. Overbet, please. Damn. You betting for value after check.
Yeah, I kind of want to. The sizes it's giving us are kind of weird. I might just throw out a B70 here and get heroed by a jack or something. Or an ace. Maybe a 9. But yeah, I'm going B70.
B7. I think I would bet here a lot. As well. Probably bet B50 in real life. But yeah, I could see B70 good. And checking is also reasonable. Checking also the highest EV. It's gonna just like not get us wrecked. Some people just won't call us light enough. Solver, you're tame today. The solver is playing just so straightforward today. Where's the nasty check raise bluffs? Last one.
This exact hand, I'm definitely gonna check. We're kind of shallow, but I think we still have some like slightly big bets on this board because there's a lot of draws available. So I think our range does have the B50 at least, maybe some B75 with like pocket jacks and like a couple bluff combos.
What are you doing with your king jacks with the spade?
Yeah,
Either
I-
one spade with one spade.
With one spade, yeah, you could check or bet small, I think. Either one.
Bet small or check. What would you do with pocket jacks?
Yeah, pocket jacks I would throw into either the B50 or the B75.
What are you doing with pocket queens?
Those can also go in the big bet sometimes or the small bet because they don't need as much protection.
So what do you think you're supposed to do when you have a queen and a jack, or a queen jack with a spade in your hand?
We can also put that in the big bet to balance out the bluff, or to have bluffs when we use a big bet.
You're gonna match those same big bets with those same blocker type hands that have the blocker with the spade in the two overs, right? So if you are gonna bet this board, which is pretty dynamic, I do think versus some straight forwards that haven't done a damn thing, that are running very low V pips, not really defending versus C bet, autopilot small could be okay with some of those combos and print as much EV. Naturally, I think some of those combos would probably bet 50 with the spade, even with this. Even at this stack depth. So you're gonna check this one, and you can see here it's betting 50 and 75 more than it's checking. And this is important. This is very important because I asked about this. So you want to, when we're pushing equity with these type of hands, right? The queens, the jacks. When you get some of these type of combos, queen jack with the spade and stuff, even the queen jack itself with the two overs that are kind of representing queens and jacks, you can mix in a good bit of bigger bets. But we do play against so many straightforward opponent guys, like death by 1,000 cuts, and using small bets and making them defend. We still have two overs. We're going to get barrel opportunities on all paint cards. Can be reasonable as well, strategically. But on a side note, you can also just mix big with this shit as well. Like, I think just pushing jacks, like, I don't know if I'm ever going small 33 with jacks, ever. Queens, no. Aces and keys need less protection, so you can do whatever there, right? But we elect to check, and I think we lose the pot.
Yeah, I just like snap fold. He gets us sometimes, but it's fine.
It's zero
Card,
EV, and
the range is it's so good for his range.
it's just so hard to play against. Pretty savage call versus it for 0 EV. And you hope he checks river, we improve, or we hit an ace or some kind of card we can bluff. But overall, we're just done. Interestingly enough, these are some of the worst portions of our range when he does that. Everything else can continue. Damn near. Cool. We'll just keep it moving since we don't have a ton of time. Pucks, do you have a mic? Thanks, Matt. I appreciate you, brother.
Of course, thank you.
No mic today. B Money, are you playing yet? It's 1 o'clock. I know you're firing. He gone. Scared or die?
Yep. Is that a trick question?
No, it's no tricks, just poker.
All right. Yeah, all right. All right, so I think I should learn my lesson. Let's range bet, right? Let's bet
Hey.
let's bet. We probably don't have to go. Let's go 33 standard.
Is
Or,
this
or
or what?
no, I was just trying to see maybe we could size up a little more because because of the. But no, I don't see any reason in our stack depth. Yeah, I will go 33.
Just so standard. Just like this is the spot, like short. Equities are gonna shift on a 10, a queen, and 8. It's gonna feel a little indifferent. I mean, not indifferent. You still have aces. You're happy as only one pair of hands we can stack. But this may be a situation again. We start thinking about this is a hand. Maybe we get to big bet. Like we have all the king X, unblocking all the king X can get value from. Stuff like that. So yeah, I think 33 is standard and you're not going to be making a mistake. Maybe it never wants to go 55. I would at least consider it. And to be honest with you, probably use it. It just hates going small. And one thing, like, I want you guys to get out of the 33 mindset on this. Think about all the hands we unblock. When he's continuing here, he's probably continuing more inelastic. The big blind's defending range here is probably going to be king 4 off, king deuce suited plus, jack deuce suited, jack 7 to jack 8 off plus, right? He has 9-8 off, all suited nines. And everything in between that he needs to call with. So this is the time, at least go 55 and start breathing on this. And it loves even going bigger than that.
Yeah, that makes some sense, you know, because they're calling, like you
This
said.
is it. Brother, this is fucking it. Look at this. You don't get to do it a lot, but when I do, I have aces and king queens and a lot of hands we can get value from. Otherwise, your 33 is cool. You see the rest of this, you get in your comfort zone, you get in your little 33 blankie and hit that button because you know it's not that bad. Well, sometime it is. Sometimes going 33 is just not the thing, right? Look, it's fine. It loves it. But this is real life, man. These guys are going to have a lot of hands. They're just going to peel and you make all the money. And then you're going to have those times where you go small and then it just comes 10 and then, you know, we didn't charge him enough. Could have got more. I don't know. As you can see, though, the EV here just showing it's the same. But I want you guys to be in an equity-driven and equity-push mindset instead of just being so straightforward. Check result. We ripping or we calling, Skate? Or are you clicking? Ripping, clicking, or calling?
I mean, they can't have two pair, right? Oh, well, at this SPR, I think our yeah, just a jam, cat jam.
Just jam and call to keep their bluffs in. Do you think equity shifts enough where you want to call and allow them to what? Like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, aces don't need a lot of protection, right? Skate wants to jam, Matt wants to call. I'm torn between call and jam, which means the solver may mix because queens and tens suck, right? Skate wants to rip. You can do whatever. And you guys, you knew, Pucks, when you said it's to be, it can't be that bad to do whatever. Oh, it's never calling. It's actually raising, clicking in this. No
Yeah,
calling. And
the
Matt,
SPR
their
is too small.
bluffs. Yeah, SPR is very small, and their bluffs are going to have fucking too much equity, and equity's going to shift. Aces are not safe. No, it's not wild, man. Aces are not safe. I do wonder about king queen. King queen's pretty safe. If I got check raised with king queen, I would think about like if we just call. Yeah, you just call with king queen. It's too fucking good.
Yeah.
What are you scared of? Two pair the nuts. Two pair king 10 isn't that scared because queens and tens don't suck as much. Two pair you just call. Two pair you just call set. Two pair and everything else.
Aces,
That's right.
aces unblocks everything too, right?
Yeah, like we're just called like aces, yeah, and ace king. King queen has more EV than aces. Yeah, it does. Fucking hell, it does. Ace king has more EV than aces. Oh, that's great. All right, we ripped it. How bad do you run? They're good. savage check raise, and I promise your villains in real life are just calling this 90% of the time. People are not check raising king 10 in real life. Enough.
So
Go ahead, Skate.
did my sizing induce more of a check Rizzle?
No, his range. He's just going to use. That's one of the best king X's he's going to have in that spot. He's
Okay.
going to use king, queen, king 10, and all these things with gut shots. He's just running it. How about this?
All right.
We kind of looked at this board earlier. Ish. It was 9, Jack 9, 6.
Right. I don't know if I was here. I
Be
yeah, I mean,
decisive.
I feel comfortable with 33, but it's probably gonna go between 33 and 50. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think we have many checks here. Yeah, 33.50.
Checks as well.
Hmm.
I don't want you to see the check. The check is not the dominant option. Betting is the dominant option. You're betting 70% of the time, Skate. Your EV and value, the EV is pretty much the same between all your betting points. And personally, I think that this is a good spot for the 33, and I don't hate it.
Okay.
It does make betting big a bit more. The computer likes to bet big. I think if you go 33.50 here, it's good.
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of the same thing as betting small, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean it. It's fine. Yeah, you can see your EV. It's fine. And I prefer your small bet here. Honestly, I like prefer mixing small with our second pair, and it's just going to be we're betting a lot, we're betting frequently. Mixing in this is going to be pretty good. Now these are fun. We get these middling card turn. How do you feel about this? And not how do you feel, what are you doing?
I think now since we got called in the flop, I'm gonna be doing a lot of checking and the 6 on the turn. I don't like it. Yeah. I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
Okay.
mm, I think a lot of checking here, and if I am betting, I'm not gonna bet. I think, yeah, I think just mostly checking, I would
Okay.
assume.
Matt, you checking Matt Nickel. The Mountie.
Yeah, I'm definitely checking this combo, and then I'm checking a lot with my range, like probably 60-70% of range is checking.
0 bet frequency with ace 9.
I mean, maybe in theory, probably, but if we're saying in real life, then no.
Yeah, I mean, in real life, you're sitting down at the WSOP. You ever bet in this turn?
No, never.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever betting. I'm actually, you're supposed to mix. You know it. I think I'm mixing a lot of check here, though. These stack depths, maybe too much myself. But we run damn good. All right, Skate, what now?
All right. In real life, I think I would be. My alarm went off. I don't think I would go too big as played. Bet call, check, check. Then we're here on the river. Um, SPR I don't think is big, deep enough
But the
to
one
bet
thing you
small.
should be thinking about, you
Yeah,
think about a lot of different things, and your thoughts seem to be fleeting. Like,
yeah.
what portion of its range are we targeting to get value from? Just the number one thing. You think about SPR and all that. The first thing you think I get here is like, well, I'm never going less than half pot. Boom. What can I get called by that goes check, check? He would probably bet some of his Jack X. Fair? Yay, nay. Do you agree or disagree, Skate?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So he doesn't have a lot of Jack X. So we probably can't overbet and too much. We went check, check, turn. So you're thinking like, all right, maybe we can get called by a 5 and under pair ace high.
Yeah,
Under
that
pair.
was my initial thought, and that's a good way to simplify. Yep. Yes.
I mean, I'm just thinking, I'm just simplifying it. Like I have a value hand. I'm never going less than half pot. He's pretty capped. What am I targeting? You know, and stuff like that. So
Yeah, like that was my initial thought. Like, what am I targeting? Pairs or ace highs, that
so
kind
what
of
size you
stuff.
want to go?
63.
Beautiful. Very well done.
Thank you.
Well done. When you come to that conclusion, it's just like, yes, just go for a bet size, and he has a fucking way stronger hand than you would ever think. But it makes sense. Like we probably
Yeah.
can get a little bit more value there, right? Let's do one more hand, and then I'm gonna have to call it a little bit earlier this week because I gotta get my son somewhere. Then next week we'll put in a pretty long one. Hopefully we get back on schedule, build up the group again now that we're back. Skate, last one. I know you're checking this hand, or are you?
How do you know?
Because we've been studying together for a year and a half now.
This is true, but the spade makes me.
You're,
Yeah, I'm checking this in,
yeah, the spade makes you in a bet, but you ain't.
but
I
I'm not
think this
sure.
hand
So
bets some with the spade. This hand mixes 50-50, Pucks said. It's just going to be one of our bluffs. It's not going to turn much more equity, and we could still fold out some of his king high and ace high air near the bottom of our range. 9x and 10x mixing in bluffs, this middling region that doesn't have a lot of equity with a spade being able to barrel some of the more middling and high card boards. If we do decide to bet, I go 75, he says 50 or 75. So these guys want to bet a good bit. Checking certainly not going to be a mistake. When you're thinking about building a bluffing range here, maybe not wanting to use our ace highs with the spade. And it is just going to go small. And I think this is important to see,
Yeah.
Pucks. Pucks, when we go play live, we're thinking about what the solver would do, but we take it to a more intuitive level. A more level one approach is my hand isn't really gonna do much, and I just want to fold out some fucking air that he might have. These guys already overfold. Let me just stat for small and hope he folds. If not, I have 2 overs. Right? Yeah, I get small being, and I think if
Yeah.
we're thinking about building our bluffing range here, like versus solver attracts you and shows you that, hey, I want to go big. Yes, you might want to go big here with these hands here, right? That wants to push equity, and it says it wants, but in real life, like we're probably going to accomplish as much everything you want to accomplish it versus these fucking nits that overfold by just going small. He's just going to fold king 9 of diamonds. King of diamonds, 9 of clubs is just gone. And that's what we want, right? He's going to fold jack 9 and shit like that, just clean. Sometimes even with a spade. And I think this is what we should be targeting and thinking about a little bit more, rather than being like, well, I know I want to make going big here with a lot of my dude, this guy's a fucking straightforward net. And if we just go small, cool. We're gonna accomplish all the same things. But yes,
I also think going small here is a function of the stack size. Like I think if we have more chips here, we're not going to go small on this board.
do you think when you're going and playing live poker versus straightforward bad players that you can't mix small versus them and print the same amount of EV versus people
I mean,
that
I'm not going to argue with you on that one. I just
not argue? I know what you mean. You don't get to go small as much.
I don't like straying too much from like fundamental stuff, and I just see this board. I'm like, this is a big blind board. It's not our board. So like, if you want to exploit and say we can bet small against bad players, that's fine. I just
No, I mean, I'm saying my first intuition, and I'm checking here almost every time. Like I'm very rarely betting
yeah.
this board myself, But what I'm saying is to those people that want to, or you identify this situation as one you want to mix, I think mixing with the small size is going to be printing as much EV as these bigger sizes versus for what you're trying to accomplish. It was the argument I'm making. The small bet can be, dude. There was times I was getting away with murder versus bad players in these spots, man. Just bet, throw something small out there, or just delay C bet. The delay C bet works a lot. When they check twice, they are absolutely fucking capped a lot more. Cool. With that in
Hey,
mind,
lady.
Skate, what are you doing? Oh, what up, Corey?
Oh, my bad, bro. I didn't hear me to hit the button. My bad, y'all.
You good, you good. Shit. What you doing, Skate?
Yeah, so my first inclination is check. I'm just not sure if we need to balance our betting range somewhat with small bets, but I'm gonna check here.
It's a really interesting spot. We don't have any equity, and we have what we presume to be very little showdown.
Mhm.
We're beating like Jack 9, Jack 7, hands that have gut shots and some equity right now, but we may be able to fade. So you're going to check. Pucks, type in the chat. What are you doing here? Matt Nickel, what are you doing?
I probably am just gonna take like one stab and then give up. I probably would just go like, I think like B75, because that's what B75 is 8, it's like 13.5, and then we have 14 behind. So that looks like I'm trying to stack off. So yeah, I would just go B75.
There's just not much interaction for you on this card. It doesn't really like, what would you check on the flop and then go B75 with here? Like, what the fuck? Like, I
Yeah.
guess some of your, it just like
I mean,
makes
I should still have like
apps.
over pairs. I should have the highest over pairs still. Like I would
Yeah, I
check
guess you
aces, kings,
should.
queens, jacks, maybe 10 sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm saying if we're assuming it's real life and they've checked twice, like I might as well
Do
get
you
to try to
think
fold something.
do you think 75 accomplishes more for what you're targeting than 50?
I mean, I guess it's player dependent, but
Well, in real life, you're
maybe.
at the WSOP.
Oh, at the well, I feel like live they just don't even pay attention to how many chips you put in. No, the
Exactly.
WSOP I don't think so, but I meant like online I think
Or
so.
live poker. Yeah, so okay. So you're pushing a little bit more and it sets up a slightly better SPR to jam when you go 75 here.
Yep.
Skate checking, taking what a little bit of showdown, 50% for good old pucks. And let's see what everybody else is with the solver's doing. One thing it's not doing is fucking checking. They check twice and it wants to eat. And it wants to eat even more. It wants to pot the shit.
Yeah, I knew I didn't want to check, but like, what are we targeting? Ace high, king high, or what?
So when the solver double checks big blind here, it's telling you what its range is. It's telling you it's in its marginal part of its range with showdown. He doesn't have a good draw. He doesn't have an 8. He doesn't have sets or a straight or anything like this. So he's got a lot of ace high, king high, and maybe he has like a 4, a 3, a 6, stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
that's
the
true.
solver's going to attack. The solver's going to attack at this point because we're behind that range. We don't really have any showdown.
Yeah, and it's gonna shit. This hand's just too weak to show down. You have to get fucking King Deuce to fold. We're at the bottom of our range here.
I take it back. I bet.
All right, what do you bet?
No, I don't know. I mean, honestly, if I was gonna bet, I was torn between checking and betting, and if I was gonna bet, I'm gonna go like a 50.
I respect that. You saw all the options and still picked the non most frequently used sides. I respect that. I respect that. And you get peeled. I love it. Now what?
Okay, now we're definitely checking.
You're not gonna shoot your way out?
I mean,
You said check, so that when you say that, I think you would check in real life. Like that's your very first gut instinct. I'm trying to talk you into maybe not checking, but your heart says check, right? You can be honest. This is just a study group. This ain't costing you no money.
yeah, I'm not looking to. Yeah, I'm not feeling this hand too bluff, but maybe I'm wrong.
So would you be bluffing on an ace, a king, a jack? Like, what are your bluff? What river cards would you bluff?
I mean,
Completed equity, kind of just let's be quick. Completed equity, high cards.
calls. I mean, maybe like an ace, maybe because I
Of
don't
course.
see him calling like the turn like with
So
an
maybe
ace
an
high.
ace, a king. Are you bluffing? Yes or no?
Maybe an ace, maybe a king. Yeah,
So
maybe a
you
jack
gotta be
instead.
decisive. If you're gonna like, it's not a
Uh,
maybe. If a fucking ace comes on the river, it's auto jam.
mhm. Yeah, just Broadway, like anything Broadway.
Thank you.
Yeah, anything Broadway. Mhm.
Okay. And then when it's this kind of shit, you get shook and you don't want to do it, right?
Yeah, because they could still have a pair, like, and it's like runner eights, less of a chance of anybody having an eight. So they're gonna call with all their pairs and uh,
All right, it's
yeah, I
fair.
check.
No, he's being honest. And I mean, I can respect the honesty. And let me see. Pucks is betting 64, betting 7. Yeah, I think I'm only jamming if I put in more money. I wonder if that's just a mistake or if we ever go one of these two bigger options and leave ourselves some dust behind. Or we go extremely polar with the bottom of our range. I don't know if I would have enemy to bet and check. I would try to shoot my way out at some frequency, but let's see. Skates checking. We see some mixed jams. Everybody else seems like they're jamming. I'd probably fucking mix some jams as well. And you can do whatever you want. Mostly checking though. Well done, Skate. Gave the
Yeah.
fuck up. Also, for all us sputards, we're in there a little bit. Not bad. Mounty, you're in there with me. And we have a spade, which is badge. Here's our jamming range. Obviously, your ace highs. Taking its king highs and running them into the ground. Oh, that's a 4. There's a 4, king 5, queen 5. Pocket 5s, which is nat. What a mergey ass spot with 5s. What a merge. Dude, this 5s is nasty. Cool. Cool. Can you filter for no mate hand? Well, as a matter of fact, I can. Let me do that. Whoops. So is it gonna take me to the spot, this situation? Yeah. There it is. God damn, all these bluffs are printing dust. They're all printing nothing. Too much air to bluff queen 10. We got a lot of fucking air in our range. Holy shit. You're right. Cool. All right, guys. I'm gonna wrap it up. Hope at least we had some good insight and some good discussions. I think study groups moving forward, man, we're gonna take everything in consideration with the population. I don't want us to get solver brain and get hard stuck that way. We need to be making these adjustments to how our player pools are playing and adjust appropriately or get left the fuck behind. So we're going to be doing that throughout because I think that's where the edge is. And we'll be working very hard every week on that for at least an hour or two. So yeah, if you guys need anything, let me know. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to look at next week, but I want it to be good and start rebuilding the group since I was away for a couple weeks. So yeah, I'll be streaming tonight for all you guys. I mean, shit, all you guys are my regs, so I'll be back on tonight. And yeah, if you guys need something, let me know. Peace out. Good luck. Good luck.
All right, thank you. See you
Thank you.
Twitch
See you, brother. Take care.
later. Bye
Later.
guys. Good luck.
Bye.